Hi there, this is Dr. Everybody with Project 11, our final project. In this one, this case, you're actually working with programming, writing the methods of a class. In this class, we've got sort of a silly game. And what I want to show you today is how do you actually see what's going on, right? I mean, you can always run tests and so on, but suppose you want to try a particular method or see what the value of something is. And that's the part that's really best just shown by doing here. So what I've done is we have Spider here. And what I've got here is the... if you look up here, I'm working with the skeleton file, and of course I also have my solution file over there. That this one is hidden from you, and we're going to be looking at the skeleton file. But what I did is I wanted to show you. I took my solution and I fired it up. Now, a lot of this you can also do in the debugger, but I want to kind of show you how you can do things in the shell. So I'm going to be working entirely in the shell over here. All right, so I fired this thing up. I'm going to put in the, well, it actually doesn't matter. You'll see in a second. It doesn't matter what I put in. It fires up, it runs, and I'm going to get out of it right away. Give up. Okay. So why did I do that? Well, that loaded the that loaded all the classes in here, and now I can say something like escapade equals rush with a file name. And I'll do this one. This is just one that happens to have a winning combination in it, right? So now I've got an escapade. But what does that mean? Well, if I look at the, and I got the name, basically I just typed that line in with a particular file name. So what do I have? Well, if I look at the escapade itself, and here I'm in the skeleton, so this stuff hasn't been filled in yet. We see that we have a couple attributes. We have a student, because we can tell that with the self, and we have classroom. So those should be initialized now. And I can say, okay, escapade student. Okay. Now what that does is that will call up the REPR of the student, and it's not very interesting because it just shows me that the backpack is empty. Now if I go to student, scroll up to student, here's the information that got printed, and I see, okay, so now we're in the student class. It's got a backpack and a classroom ID. Again, I know that because of the selves. So I can say, all right, what's in the backpack? It's empty. Okay, that was an up arrow I just hit there just to save me some typing. And how about the classroom ID? Okay, that's, so I'm in classroom number 1. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's go back down to Rush, and we see not only did we have student, but we have this thing called classrooms. So escapade being my instance of a Rush, let's see what classrooms look like. And that's a dictionary, and that has read in this file roomwin.txt, and now I can see, oh, look at that. There's curly brackets. So this thing is a dictionary. Okay, well I know what to do with dictionaries. I can index it. So there's room number 1, and there's room number 2. Okay, and so there's the particular values, and oh, that thing is a classroom. Okay, so let's go look at the classrooms. All right, so I've got my classroom, and what does it have? It's got an ID and a course and exits and its own backpack. That's just stuff that's in the room. Okay, so now that means I can take this particular classroom and see what's in its backpack. Now, we would expect that, because, what is in the, what's in the room, what's in the backpack? Well, we would hope it would be these things, the pencil and paper. This is class, the calculus class is in there, and then these are the exits. These are the things down, left, and right where I can go to other rooms. And so, given that, let's take a look at it. So we've got a backpack, and sure enough, we expected to find a pencil and paper in there, and sure enough, we did. Okay. Another thing that we have are exits. Okay, so let's take a look at the exits for this room. Okay, oh, there we go. It's a dictionary. All right, and we can also do things like check the course and check the ID. Okay. Now, all right, let's go back to my escapade. What is there anything else in there? Oh, and by the way, while I'm here, I can take something like my backpack. And what is the backpack? Backpack is just a list, right? You can see the square brackets there. It's just a list. So if I wanted to, I could, because it's just a list, I can append onto it. Let's put a shoe in there. Okay, and now when I look at the backpack, sure enough, it's a list. We appended it, and I can see I have a shoe in it, because that thing right there, that is the name of a particular list. Okay. All right, let's go back down and see if there's anything else. Oh, we've taken care of all the attributes of Rush. Let's look at some of the methods, and let's move in a certain direction. Well, first of all, where am I? Well, where is my student? So our student has a certain classroom ID, so the student is in room number 1. And so I can go, all right, let's look at my classrooms dictionary. And I'm in room number 1, and let's see what's there. And not much. Now, what might be nicer to do is, rather than keep typing the 1 in there, let's grab the ID out of the student, and because remember, what was the value of that? That was the int 1, which we then used as the index. So why not just use this as the index, all right, which is what I did here. Now, there's only one place we can go, which is up. So in my escapade, let's do a move, and move, we can see over here, takes a direction, okay? And so let's give it a direction, which is up. Okay, and it says, we got some feedback, we've made a new, we're in a new place. Where are we at? Let's see the classroom ID of my student, and now we're in room number 2, which is exactly where I expected to do. If I went up, I went into room number 2, and again, if I could actually take this, all right, the value of the classroom ID is now 2, and so now I can see, oh, I'm in this room. And remember, we added shoe to there. So I've got this, I've got that in there, and we successfully did a move because we moved from, our student moved from room number 1 to room number 2, and now I got a bunch of stuff in that room. Well, what does our student have in his backpack? It's got nothing in there, so I can't drop anything. So let's let's pick something up. And I've got a bunch of different things that I can pick up. Let's pick up a pencil. All right. And now, when I look at my student's backpack, I see that, yes, we have a pencil. And now if I go back and look at the actual room itself, we'll see that it had a pencil. It doesn't have a pencil now, and it's in the student's backpack. So I was able to see that my pickup actually worked. Okay. Now, what are the components of picking something up? Well, we had to remove it from the backpack of the classroom. So if I go to the classroom, it has that backpack in it. And so I needed to move it from this backpack into that backpack, right? And so, what did that mean to do? Well, in the classroom, I had to get rid of it. Well, let's see what we have in our classroom. Let's go to our classroom. There's our classroom, and it has. I need to remove an item. Okay, so we go to my classroom, and we say remove item. Let's remove the shoe. And when I look at my backpack, sure enough, the shoe is gone. Now, what do I want to do with that shoe? Well, we can go back to my student backpack. Had a pencil, and let's append a shoe on there. And when I look at the backpack, sure enough, it has a shoe. So so what did it mean to pick something up? Well, I took, in the escapade, the particular classroom that I'm in, I did a remove item of a particular item, which here I use shoe, but I could have used the word item in there. All right. So I did, let me get my, so what I ended up doing here is I did a remove from the classroom, and then I did an append into the student's backpack. Okay. And so that effectively moved the shoe from one to the other, right? When we looked at the backpack here, it had a shoe in it, and when I looked at the student's backpack, it didn't, and so I moved the shoe in there. Okay, so that means what I've just showed you here is I've just showed you how to do the pickup in the room. Okay, and so in that way, I can go and try something out in the class, and and then I can see how it's working out. I can so use this as an area. It's like, okay, what's really happening with this with some particular method? Then I can go, all right, I wanted to do a pickup. Well, I can see what's happening here. What does pickup mean? It means going from the classroom's backpack into the student's backpack. All right, that's picking it up. Dropping is just the opposite, right? And what does it do? We're removing it from one backpack and putting it in the other, and then and we can see how that works. Now, how did the remove work for a classroom? All right. How did it remove? All right, so we're in a classroom. How did that actual remove work? Well, I called this method, all right? But then it's like, okay, so how did that method work? Well, what does it mean to remove something? Then if I go back and I look at a backpack for a particular classroom, then that's a backpack. That's just a list. I can then remove something from there. There's a paper in there, so I can remove. Then when I look at it, the backpack is empty. So now, what did I just do? I just showed you how to do remove item in a classroom. So if you can play with stuff in the shell here, that gives you now it gives you a way with these sort of funny namings here, but you should be in a comfortable area. I mean, once you have that name, that weird looking name there, but if you can parse that out, that's just a list. Oh, with a list, I can remove a list. I can append with a list, right? So you want to conceptually, so what the challenge is with the classes is getting the names right. Once you got the name right, oh, that's a list. I've been dealing with lists for weeks, or that's a dictionary. I've been dealing with dictionaries for weeks. So the challenge here is getting this naming. And once you get comfortable with the naming, now you're into something that you should be familiar with. Oh yeah, that's just a long name for a list, and I know I can remove things, append things, I can look at things in a list. So think about it that way, and hopefully that will help you get this project going. Good luck.